Hi, gotta remember to hit that button. Arcade1up is mostly dead. The Terminator 2D reception, and tonight my special guest is none other than G.I. Joe. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened this week in home arcade and retro gaming. Episode 208. What's going on, everybody? Hopefully you're having a phenomenal day. Hopefully all of your football teams have done very, very well. I don't know yet. The jury's still out of mine. My team plays tonight, so we're going to try to keep it to a tight hour. No after show tonight. Sorry, members, but we got to see how good or bad tonight goes. That may just dictate my mood for the rest of the year. No, just kidding. I'm used to disappointment. I'm a Cowboys fan. So, yeah, I want to say hi to everybody who is in the chat. Got some things to talk about tonight. One of the things that we have to talk about, like we do every single week, is what's Fox drinking? Tonight, it is Green River, the Owensboro Classic. Owensboro is a city located right down the road from me. Good bourbon. This is the same company that made the Army 250th birthday bourbon. I still have some of that, so haven't cracked that open. Don't plan on ever cracking that open. So it's good company with a unique horseshoe-shaped bottle. So very good. So cheers, everybody. Hopefully you're staying inside warm and dry, and your football teams all won. Cheers. We had some snow. We had up in the Cincinnati area, had about, I think it was 4.5 inches. Now, I know some of you are saying, oh my God, that's a blizzard. And others of you are just saying, that's a dusting. I get to hear that from my Canadian buddy and my Detroit buddy. How, oh, it's just a dusting. Okay, well, it's a big deal for us, okay? All right, it's a big deal for us. So have a little sympathy for your Southern friends who freak out and don't know what the heck is going on. It's the benefit of having four-wheel drive for sure. So, talked about what I'm drinking tonight. Let me know what is in your glass. Let me know in the comments section if you're watching on the replay or in the chat right now. I want to know what everybody's sipping on. Are you drowning your sorrows or are you toasting your victories? Let me know. Also, this week we got a poll question. Like every single week, we have a poll question going live in the chat right now. If you're watching me live, you get to vote in the poll, and it is very simple. A question, and it is this. If Arcade1up were to close their doors today, if the hypothetical, what would you want to happen next? So what would you want to see? So Arcade1up goes away, just Arcade1up. They go away. What do you want to see moving forward? You got 4 options. One is to just give up, quit making 3/4 and XO cabinets, stop it. It's over. It's done. Just basic fun, go away. Everybody just go away and move on. So that's one option. It's not my favorite, but sure. The second option is keep the deluxes. So the deluxes that are out there, right? The ones that have already been made, go ahead and keep those there. That's fine. But let's focus on XLs. Let's move forward and focus on the XLs. So we still keep some of those 3/4, but really you want to focus on the XLs. That's the future, right? Your third option is expand on the 3/4. So let's do deluxes. Let's bring back all the 4 players and the crazy different time crises and whatever, all that crazy stuff, and abandon the XLs. XLs aren't even worth it. Forget about it. Go away. And let's just stay in the 3/4 scale world. And then, of course, the last one is a return to the $299 first gen model. Now, obviously, you're talking about newer games, not the old games, not those original games, but the cheap version. Go way back. The Peasant Cade with the wooden, marquees and all that. And then just have everybody do that. All the games coming out will be in that form factor. And then you can upgrade them as you see fit. Kind of a return to form. We talk about the good old days. Well, that's kind of what they look like. So let me know. We got 59 votes. Jump up there. We're going to into the show. We're going to talk about that. Talk about those results, and let me know what you think so far. It's actually just kind of it's kind of going the way that at least I wanted to go. Kind of going the way that I would have voted. Okay, we also got the first 10, the top 10 maybe, but they are definitely the first 10 comments jumping in here right off the bat. Just as soon as I posted the show, we had an atheist from the north, 159 coming in the number 1 spot. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas, and may God enter your heart and save you. Sorry, couldn't help myself. But thank you so much for being here, buddy, as always. Coming in the number 2 spot is Game Broker 8465. I don't know why everybody has numbers now at the end. I liked it when it was just Game Broker. Happy Sunday, Fox. Hope you had a good week. So final thoughts. Is Arcade1up really dead? I am so confused with all the different updates. I'm going to go through everything. I actually got my hands on the entire email. We're obviously going to omit names and email addresses, but we're going to look at the entire body of the email, go through that tonight real quick so everybody can have the full context. Thank you so much for being here. Miss Retro Rosie, coming in the number 3 spot. It's always a pleasure to see you. I know you're over there in Europe, and you don't get a chance to watch live, so thank you so much for being here, as always. And Kevin Clausen, dropping it like it's hot. Another membership gift. Thank you so much again for gifting memberships. And we got James coming in the number 4 spot, saying 4? Waiting already? Yes. Yes, they are. They're patiently waiting. Man, better be good. Coming in the number 5 spot, of course, is Kevin. Again, this channel has been slowly dying for years. It's sad to say, but yes, it's very, very true. Very, very true. We had me coming in. I don't count. What am I doing? Get out of there. Kurt, the Daring is coming in the number 6 spot. Daring, sure. I apologize. Hey, made the top 10 this week. I just hope I'll be back online live for the shout out. Absolutely. If you're not watching me live, it's okay. Catch me on the replay. The number 6 spot goes to you, my friend. Coming in the number 7 spot is M. Wayne Guru. Sounds good. Great breakdown on the Arcade1up situation this morning. Thank you. I appreciate that. I tried to interject a little bit of reality in this situation. Everybody, I think, just wanted to kind of run with, I say everybody. I don't want to say everybody. I want to say some, maybe the majority, wanted to just kind of run with it and go and then move on. They've got other topics to cover. I wanted to spend a little more time in it and interject some of my, reality, some of my doubts. And to hear more about my doubts and a little more conflict, I'll be on with Michael B tomorrow. So we'll be at each other's throats. Nah, not really. I love him. Coming in the number 8 spot is Angelo P. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Evening, Fox and chat. I hope everyone is having a great weekend and staying warm. Wait, is Arcade1up dead yet? They've been dying for a very, very, very long time. Coming in the number 9 spot is Novasonic 23. What's going on, buddy? Hey, Fox. Happy Sunday. Did you finish your Christmas shopping? Good luck with the game tonight. Fingers crossed. They seem to play a lot of Sunday night games. Yeah, they're the primetime game. I love to watch my team lose. And prime time. It's great. It's a great way to end the entire weekend with a total loss. But that's not going to be the case tonight. I got $5 riding on it. Let's really hope that they win. Thank you so much for being here and always supporting the channel, bud, as always. And Frank D gets the number 10 spot. Awesome, man. Nothing really exciting for dinner tonight. Just leftover McDonald's. There's excitement there. Come on, it's all in the eye of the beholder. Come on. I mean, you put that in the microwave, magic will absolutely happen. Okay, we also got Milkman Classics here. JJ, we got Jason NSS. What's going on? It's me, A2. A2, it's good to see you as always. John on the fritz trying to get worked out, and he's here. So we thank him. Video Game Vegas is also here. Dan Z is also here. Scrolling down. The B, me. We got the Molar Medic. The Molar Medic is in the house. We got the Shogun. What is up? How you doing, man? Always good to see you. JR33, Little Alien, Jason, Modern, like a mofo. I appreciate you, man. A Tram Fanatic. Hopefully all your car issues are just worked out. Oh, you're talking about right now. So stoked. So stoked. Not so I. So stoked. I passed the missions yesterday with my Grand Prix GTP. Now I'm good for 2 years. Woohoo. Congratulations. You've been working on the car for a long time, man. I know you're glad to finally get that done. I got Gramps Arcade is also in the house. Jen Rummy 76 is Real Gaming. What's going on, buddy? I think you know the guy we're going to have on tonight. I think that's pretty much everybody. The most huggy with the Real Zim is also here. Want to make sure I try to say hi to as many people as possible. Chris Ford, is also here. Good to see you. Saved by Zero. No, saved by the hero. That's who you are. R Deathby? What am I? I'm missing R Deathby. R Deathby. Sure. Sounds good. Sorry, I messed up your name. So I'll read the comment. So what's the bourbon of the night? I'm going with my friend Elijah Craig. What a great friend. He's always there for you. Absolutely. Not a bad choice at all. Josh Dindy is also in the house. Michael B, the Game Genie. I'm just here for G.I. Joe. That hurts immensely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Wonderful. Sir Sega is also here. We got Burnt Orange. Oranges. Z. Yes. Thank you so much for being here, man. As always. MSU Rich, man, good to see you. Come here, alien. Come here. No, here. Like when you had kids, you had to just call them several times. I think that's pretty much everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. We got to get this ball rolling. Oh, Detroit Love, the man, the myth, the legend, and the guy that makes fun of me for my, snow not being as much as it should be. A dusting. A dusting is what this guy said. Him and Mike. No sympathy for me. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I think there we go. We got the Nerd Lounge Master 84. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. I think that's the majority of you. Once again, if I missed you, I do apologize. We got to get this train rolling. Grab the glass. Put a beverage of your choice inside of it. Vote in the poll. I really want to know what your vision of the future would be should a certain arcade company fall apart. Vote, and let's go ahead and slide into the first topic. And of course, to do that, we're going to have to bring on the man, the myth, the legend, the GIest of Joels. Joel, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, we only have about 20 inches of snow out there piled up. So, I mean, it's nothing compared to what you probably are dealing with.
There we go. Everybody I bring on has to be from like the north and have just ridiculous snow. It's like we get 4.5 inches and we shut down, man. It's rough. It's rough. How much did you get? How much?
We got over 20 inches piled up. It's not melting.
In how many days?
Yeah. Over the course of maybe 2 weeks, I think.
That's a lot. Now we'll get hit by maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 inches in a couple days, and then we'll have like nothing, and it'll melt, and it'll get up to like 50, and then it'll come back. It's just weird. This area we're in is just garbage.
Yeah, it was. We got up to like 14 yesterday.
14 degrees.
Yeah,
that was your high. Wow.
Fahrenheit.
Wow. Nice. Well, just make sure I think we had a really cold day yesterday. 5 was the high. But that just lasts for like a day at most. So yeah, that's really it. Everybody else in the chat, let us know how much snow you consider actual snow and continue to give me crap. That's okay. That's fine.
I got to tell you, Fox, your pores look amazing. I'm not used to seeing camera people this big on the screen. Normally there's like 12 of us. Well, it's real tiny, but
this is an intimate setting. See, if you have just a couple guys,
it's almost like you're here in front of me. You're so big on the screen. We're
talking to each other. We're having a conversation, and these other people are just here hanging out. Yes, it's much better to have just a couple people, right? And it's
crazy
conversation. It's nice. So, what is going on with you, man? Hey, what's going on, buddy? What's the dog's name?
Kel's hanging out here with me a little bit. Yeah, he wants to get on camera.
What's going on, buddy? What kind of dog is he?
Chocolate Lab.
Chocolate Lab. Beautiful dog.
He's my oldest boy.
Oh, how old is he?
My oldest son.
Is he your oldest son?
Yeah.
And he's the most obedient, I'm sure.
He is. He hangs out with me all the time in my shop and doesn't leave my side. So,
man, that's pretty awesome. He just lay there. He's just like your rock, your support. He's hero support.
Tripping over him a lot because he is literally right there. Especially in this cold weather, during the summer, I can have the doors up in the garage, and he sometimes lays out in the driveway and guards, and watches to make sure nobody sneaks up on me. But
has he got a decent little bark on him or no?
Oh yeah, no bite, but a lot of bark.
There you go. Well, that's usually how those those dogs are, right? That's good. You need that. You need that when somebody has got to watch your back. So how's it been? I hear you've been kind of busy, man. I don't know.
Extremely busy. Yeah. It's been good.
How's it going? Percentage wise, how you doing on the orders? Like how many you got done?
I'm trying. So I had my first run. that I did the pre-sales for. It was back in August. I can't believe
Yeah,
it. Doesn't seem like it was that long ago for me because things have been hectic and crazy, but I can
can't imagine.
imagine what it's like for the people who ordered it because I just realized, we're going on 4 or 5 months here now. So luckily a lot of the companies have set a better precedence for me and like conditioned everybody to,
Yeah.
be okay a little bit with delays
Huh.
and,
A year and a half,
expect
that's fine. I'm okay with
a
that.
little bit of a longer wait. So everybody's been pretty patient and understanding. Had a lot of hiccups over the way, including like my CNC break-in.
I saw that,
Ended up
yeah.
buying a second one. So that I've been able to kind of run two. Been able to slow down the old one, and the new one is just a beast. So it's been
Nice.
pumping stuff out, and just first time I've done this before, so a lot of my estimates on how long it would take to do some and assemble like a lot of this stuff, especially myself,
Right.
taking a lot longer than I thought. Even down to the monitors. Now I get and understand why Buy Stuff is charging over $200 for a monitor kit.
Oh,
And
yeah. It's
I was
crazy.
basically kind of giving those away at cost when I first did this. Just to throw it in there to help everybody out, but I didn't think everybody was going to order a monitor either with it. So
Yeah, lesson learned, right? Yeah, there's a
I
real
had to
cost to
adjust my
doing that.
prices a little bit and
Yeah.
to accommodate for the amount of time that it's taken to, of my time to
Yeah.
build and assemble these monitors and control decks. And yeah, unfortunately, pretty much all of it's made in the USA, built and constructed. So it's just me. My wife's been trying to help out where and when she can while also taking care of our boys. She works a full-time job, but she's been putting screws
Yeah.
and components and hardware kits and baggies and labeling them. So if you don't get all your dowel pins or all your screws, we know who to blame.
Oh, don't even do that. No, no, no. God bless her. No, you wouldn't get. I know I wouldn't get half the stuff I get done if I didn't have my wife behind me, helping me every step of the way for sure. So
She's
that's
been
awesome.
sacrificing the dining room table. She puts, has all that stuff laid out. And so, yeah, and then brings it out to the garage and, they get put in. Shipping's been one of the biggest challenges.
Oh yeah.
I was a package designer, but I wasn't really, the tertiary
Hmm.
portion of the shipping. I was more the primary and secondary designer and stuff, worked with, the consumer facing stuff. So, but I learned a lot along the way, but we didn't deal anything in like 100+ pound packages either.
That's got to
So
be a totally
UPS.
different animal there. Yeah, trying to get all that flat packed and then considering all the weight, you can't just wrap it up in some bubble wrap and call it a day. I mean, the boxes they have to be substantial, right?
Boxes are substantial, down to, there's a lot. Even, I'm putting handles on these things, but the handles are busted and stuff. But the handles really are, I mean, it's a game of psychology too,
Right.
because you put the handles on and then you can kind of control how it gets handled through the shipping stream too, right? So then
Right.
you kind of know how it's going to be at least kind of get an idea or control how it should be carried. So then you can beef up certain areas and put certain things in certain areas with others. So I kind of want it to be carried, lengthwise and up and
Hmm.
down and not have things stacked on it. So putting the handles on the edges, the shipping label on that
Right.
small edge. So it has to be stood up and scanned and viewed. Um, so little things like that, you know, people don't know, but you're kind of controlling how it's being
And that's
handled.
And that's just the
Uh,
packaging side of it. You have you
yeah.
have the whole cab that you have to actually design, figure out, like you were saying, talk about the cost and getting all that affordable. Maybe this would help. $2, a $2 super chat. Would that maybe help get you go in the right direction?
Always. Yeah. Any little bit helps, right?
Yeah, this is Brown Super Bowl 2035. Get ready. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat and your wishful thinking, but you know where you got to go. No, it's not to the Super Bowl. It's to the pit.
Finish him. Molina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Also have another super chat, $20. Thank you so much for your $20 super chat, Spectre Gaming USAF Air Force. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. At GI Joel is a great dude. Slipped into his DMs to work on a custom cabinet. Dude is literally the best. He has been, I mean, Joel, you've been behind the scenes commenting. You and I've been talking back and forth, giving me ideas. I've been bouncing ideas off of you. You're absolutely a great guy because you deal in the realm of reality, which is something that a lot of people don't really understand how to live in. I mean, these Arcade1ups, these small machines, I've always called them compromise machines. There's always a give and a take, right? You can't have everything. It's not a one-to-one recreation. It's just not. So so it's been cool to kind of see you go through this whole process. And I mean, I want to talk a little bit about, you talk about you got a CNC machine, you had to get a second one, designing this actual cabinet to be flat packed. Like, how long did that take you? Just, from designing the cab to then figuring out the flat packing, and then which one took more time?
So let's see. I think it was Stock Jock set up the meeting for me to be on Michael B's show on a Friday, and the show was on a Monday. So I started designing it Friday night, and had it done Monday afternoon.
Wow. Okay. So you just got in the zone, huh?
No, it's tough to gauge because it was something I was picking away at here and there. Honestly, it didn't take that long to build because a lot of it I had already in place from the risers and stuff.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the risers I started in the the countercade stands, I started building by hand, but quickly that, with all the craziness that Arcade1up designed into those, and things that didn't quite make sense and surprises along the way, I quickly learned I couldn't build those by hand. They needed to be CNC'd and templated out. And I had the CNC, and the orders were coming in quicker, than I could handle them. So, just slowly doing research and collecting the tools and stuff to be able to do things like just the side holes for the dowel pins. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
something that you can run on a CNC. And when I was doing those for it, I was drilling them out by hand with a little jig and stuff like that, one at a time. I needed to up that job a bit. I was ironing edge banding on with an
With
iron,
an
a heat
iron.
iron. Yeah. Looked into and got a small edge bander so I can run, pieces through an edge bander quick and stuff. And I could have done like some of them I still do, the stuff I can't get the color edge banding for, but so I do some with T-molding, but
Mm-hmm.
in T-molding, it's more quality and stuff like that, and I recognize that. But for me, I I like copying and replicating and doing the best that I can to make
Yeah.
something look like something else. So I wanted mine to look like it fit in and was rolled off of, the assembly
Floor.
line for a
Assembly
one
line.
up and fit in
Well, yeah,
next to it.
with the risers, like you're talking, like that to continue that theme, to have something that was T-molding would, to your point, yes, it would be better quality for sure, but that's just not going to fit the look, and it's going to seem out of place. And the whole point of your risers, especially your inline risers, are phenomenal because of that, like the curved way that you've kind of curved the wood up to the point to where the rounded bottom panel of the Arcade1up could just sit on top of it. It's all part of that. It's all the whole point of that. So yeah, if you were to go with something else, it just wouldn't make a ton of sense. We got $2 super chat from your buddy and mine, Galaga Guy 88. It's worth the wait. G.I. Joel's cab is amazing. I think I mean, have you gotten, and you can be, this is just me, you, and everybody watching. Have you gotten
There's
any
nobody watching.
yeah, it's fake numbers. Don't worry about it. Has there been like any like negative? Has anybody said, nah, I don't like the way this looks, like just generically speaking, like, because everybody seems to just dig the shape? Obviously this is something that shape everybody's been wanting, going for, but have you had anybody say, what are you doing, don't even waste your time on that, do something else? Have you got that at all?
No. Just mostly have gotten requests to make more, and not just more of what I'm doing, but they're like, "Can you do this too? Can you
Okay.
make an afterburner? Can you do, what about this? What about that?" So I'm buried up to, ideas.
Right.
It's more or less picking and choosing what's going to be next. I got to get this Robotron out of the way, so I get this monkey called Stockjock off my
Oh,
back, who's
geez.
been bugging me for a year or two about getting him a Robotron. So
Is it going to be
I
another
get that
three
done,
quarter?
and then sell those to the 6 or 7 other people out there that want one, and then I can move on to,
Wait,
some other
there's
ones.
6 people that want one? No.
I think so. That I'm
Maybe.
thinking,
Maybe.
it
Well,
depends on how soon I get them done, they
well, that's true. Yeah, that's
whether they
true.
live that long, I
Well,
might be
especially in
losing
Michael B's case, he's a
consumers,
very.
by the day.
I mean, Michael B is just an elderly man. He could just drop it any second. We know that.
Good.
So prayers go out. Prayers go out to Michael B. So I wanted to talk a little bit about obviously what you're doing, but some stuff that kind of hit this week. I think we talked a little bit about Terminator 2D. You didn't have a chance to play it. I wanted to just talk about it quickly. I did play through. I started playing on the medium difficulty, and then got said, you know what? I want to burn through the whole thing and get a good idea of what the game is like. So I played through it on easy. So there's 12 modes, or not 12 modes, but 12 stages. Uh, I don't know if you know anything about it, if you're interested, but I can't really sing the praises of this enough. The big problem with it is short. It's kind of a short game. So if you just go on easy, you're going to go through the whole game, in an hour, and then that could be it for you. But they do this really cool thing, not just obviously the difficulty increases, but then they have these branching off points. So when you play it for the first time, you play it just like the movie happens, right? All the decisions that are made are just like the movie. But then when you play it a second time, there's these like these different timelines you can go. So you can make different decisions. I think in my review I said something about when Sarah Connor has the option, like she's going to shoot Miles Dyson. In the movie, she doesn't. She's like, she comes to her senses. But in the game, you'll have the option to do either one. And then it's going to be so it'll be like a different level, a different set of circumstances. But it's a really, really fun game. I got the physical copy, but you can get the digital for like 35. Is this a game you've even heard about? Is it something you're interested in?
I had heard about it. I haven't looked into it much because I wasn't too interested, but now
Mhm.
you've kind of talked me into it. That whole aspect of choose your own adventure sounds pretty
Yeah.
neat. You did
Yeah.
mention backstage that it was a little bit like a Contra game. Did you play the new Contra game?
Oh, yeah.
Um, how
Yes.
did you how did you like that, and how does it compare to this?
I liked it. There's an aesthetic that this game has that the new Contra did. And the new Contra was new
Yeah.
and in high def graphics, and that was cool. But I do like the throwback of the digitization, the pixelated look of these games. It's like a cut above 16-bit, if that makes sense. It's a smoother 16-bit. So you're
Okay.
going to have that aesthetic. So if you like that look, this is something you're going to probably enjoy. If you're wanting a game sort of that mimics the old gameplay, but it's newer graphics, you're probably not going to like this, because this
So
is very
kind of like
much.
Shredder's Revenge as
It's
far as
like Shredder's Revenge, yeah, and there's different aspects of it, like so different levels. It's not just a Contra clone where you just running a gun in. Some levels are absolutely like that, especially the stuff in the future. Like you can upgrade your weapon, you'll get the spreader, and you'll get the laser, you get all that stuff, and that's fun. But then there's different levels that you have sort of different objectives. The one where Sarah Connor is actually escaping from the mental institute is like a stealth game. She's all she has is a nightstick, and the T-1000 is going after her. So it's like you got to like hide from him, and then hide from security cameras, if you want to get through with the least amount of damage. So that level was really fun. It stands out. There's some driving levels too. You're kind of just it's basic. You're dodging traffic and hitting like turbo boosts and all that. And then there's one where you got to run around and kind of arm the barrels and stuff. So that's kind of fun. So it's different enough to where it doesn't get stale, I guess, is my thing. So looks like the old graphics from back in the day, 16-bit. Terminator 2, it's like it follows the story. There's so many little Easter eggs. If you're a fan of the movie, you will absolutely love the game.
I do like the movies, and I'm okay with short games because I
I
don't
am
have a
too.
whole lot of time in my hands. So
Well, that's why we like arcades.
Yeah.
Like I love to walk up to my arcade machine and pound on it for a few minutes, get through a few levels, and then okay, I got to go do something. You know, you got stuff going on at home. I got a little shop. I got stuff going on. We just kind of want to get a little game in and move on. So yeah, I never had a problem with the short game. If you're paying a ton of money, I see why people might get upset. I think it's like $35. Just download on Steam. So it's definitely worth the play, especially if you're a fan of the movies for sure. This guy coming in with $10. Where's my damn Robotron? Is he always this pushy?
He is. He's like a mouse. You give a mouse a cookie and he asks for a glass of milk. He got a Nintendo cab, you know?
Yeah.
And he's not satisfied.
He's not satisfied. He wants no, I think you're like his pusher now. He wants more. Yeah,
I tried to tell him that was a Robotron, that I just didn't know what a Robotron looked like.
Yeah. Why he didn't buy it?
No, he didn't. Not at all.
That's unfortunate. Speaking
of another year or two, his dementia will set in, and you know,
with any luck, and then you'll just be able to convince him that he already has one, and he just needs to go find it.
Exactly.
Right? So just, it's in your house. Go look for it.
You sold it. You said nobody wanted Robotron.
Yeah. You wanted to sell that and buy another something else. I don't know. You know, another claw machine, I guess. Speaking of not buying it, Joel, what do you think about this whole deal with Arcade1up and his email, and they're closing the doors tomorrow? Well, actually, I guess Friday, 2 days ago. Are you up to speed on this? Do you know what even is going on? What do you think?
What do you mean, am I up to speed? You're not aware that me and Arcades Anonymous has been talking about this all week long?
It was a segue.
We've been covering it in and out, according to some.
I know this is your sole purpose in life. I know this is all you think about. I know.
It is, yeah.
But for those of us that actually know better,
cover that stuff, we drag it out.
Yeah. When I watch your show, it's just this topic every single day.
Yeah, it's not. It has nothing to do with arcade video games.
No. We focus on drama.
That's what we talk. That is not what we talked about this week. We didn't talk about two of our favorite or our most underrated gaming consoles.
Why would you want to do something like that? That sounds like fun, Joel. That's not what we're about. Okay?
We don't have fun. No,
we're not about
to speculate and make stuff up without any evidence or proof.
Yes, that's what we do here.
Where did you get this, by the way? This looks like evidence and proof.
This is that screenshot, right? That screenshot of a portion of an email that every single news outlet and YouTuber and everybody ran. Like, this is it. This was all the proof that they needed. And some other people did some more digging, but I wasn't like impressed with this or satisfied, but everybody wanted to run with it. And to me,
this is, in some ways, this appears to be more proof than what we ever got with the C&D.
Well, that's true.
So
that's true. The C&D was still
right. I haven't seen anything with that, but we're supposed to believe that one.
Well, you're not supposed. You can't see it. It's like Santa Claus. You have to believe. Right. That's what you have to believe. So I was skeptical. I did a video last night, posted it this morning. Got some pretty good feedback. People were kind of sort of saying the same thing. It's like, if this is all it is, like, we've been talking about this forever. I mean, I think it's more likely that they'll be sold than just die. But it was weird that you get this email and we're just going to shut the doors tomorrow. I just thought that was just funky and weird. And I didn't see a lot. Whatever. Do my video. I get people reaching out like, hey, you want to see the rest of the email? I'm like, of course I do. Sure, let's talk about it. Well, I'm not going to share names of people and everything, but here is the full body of the email. And I know that if you're like me, you can't read that. So I've got it over here. I'm going to read this for you over on my other screen. Basically, the first part is exactly what we all saw. This is addressed to the beta team, and I'll try to be quick. It says, I come to you with the news I wish I didn't have to share. Arcade1up is closing the doors. I cannot speak to the future of the brand, blah, blah, blah. I do not know the plans of the arcade systems. We've read that before. Here's the part we haven't seen yet. That being said, I need to take certain actions before my last day. Now, remember, he sent this out, or she, or whoever this person is. We still don't even know. They sent it out on Wednesday and, referencing Friday as everybody's last day. So they say, I was going to inform all of you that I was going to completely close the Discord group and release everyone by Friday. Instead, I'm taking a couple of steps. So this is, once again, he's addressing this beta team. Step 1 is giving all of you this notice that things are ending. Step 2 is to tell you that there may be new people who are interested in taking this over. That is still to be determined. So that, to me, that sentence right there is like, okay, well, that's information we absolutely needed to have before we could kind of make our assessment. Is that part of someone is going to be taking over, somebody could be taking over, I don't really know. That hints to me more like a sale, not just a we're shutting the doors and walking away. What I mean,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
Some of the well, that's a whole lot more words than I've seen on some of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I've had a lot more time to, I've been working in the shop all week, so I've been having the TV going with YouTube and stuff, so it's been getting a little boring seeing all the same stuff repeated over
Right.
and over again, but it's like,
Right.
all right, well, say I got a different person that's going to explain a 30-second Reddit post to me for 15,
This
30 minutes, but
this sets the whole course of reality for a while.
there is a lot more there. And
Right.
some of the stuff I had heard during the week, it sounded like it was hinting towards, that they may not be shutting the doors, and going out of business, filing
Right.
bankruptcy or whatever, that there was maybe some sort of a sale or something
Right.
like that, a change of hands or, business. Cause, even like, I think the original Reddit post email that was shared, they talked about, they're not sure what was going to happen with the assets and things like that. So, I don't know. In the end, does it matter and change much? I mean, we can keep speculating, until it becomes official. But what control do we have over it?
Well, we don't have any control. We just react, obviously. But to your point, I mean, what does it really matter? I mean, if they were to close
what
the
have
doors,
they been putting out? Are we
that's the
going to
problem,
miss another
right?
Pac-Man? I
Well,
think we got all the Pac-Mans maybe that's why they're going under. They have no more Pac-Man ideas.
I think I think that's fair. I think you've pretty much done all the Pac-Man you could possibly do. But if that was to happen, sure. I mean, it's completely out of our control. What's been happening? It wouldn't be a surprise in any way, shape, or form. This email and the rest of it goes on to say that, and this I thought this was pretty cool of the person that sent the email. They were talking about, hey, you're under NDA with Arcade1up, but you're not under NDA for anybody else. So, if the other company comes in, which I'll put this back on screen so we can kind of talk about it. You are under NDA to Arcade1up and not to any new company. They need to re-sign each of you under their NDA to continue. So all this, like, if you're going to crop any part of the email, I feel like those two sentences would have really been useful because it's very clearly sort of stating the stuff that I said in my video, stuff that we've all been talking about. They're probably just going to be sold, right? Somebody's going to come in and they're going to just pick up where Arcade1up left off. And there'll be maybe some suits, maybe some offices will be closed, but for the most part, I don't think anything's really going to change. They're going to continue that trajectory. And if it is basic fun that kind of combines together, well, then maybe they'll just like passing the baton, right? Which we've already kind of saw.
It is
And then
interesting to see this and how much more of this is there and how much more
absolutely.
information, because I'm not a Redditor. I'm not familiar
I'm
with
not
it.
either.
Does
Yeah.
Reddit restrict how big of an image you can have?
I
Why
don't
not share this
know.
whole thing? I can
Yeah.
understand cropping out people's info, but why not share the whole thing? It does
Well,
now seem like it was
yeah.
purposely cropped at a certain area, right?
Because when I got this email and it was just sent to my email, so I have the full body of the email. All I did was I just cropped out everything at the top and the bottom. So all the
Right.
information of people's stuff is completely out of there. So you could have just done this like I just did, and we could have gotten a more complete context,
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and the person that's heading up the team is saying, listen, guys, give me some options. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to just go ahead and kick you out of the Discord, keep you in the Discord? Do you want me to pass your information on to this new company? I mean, it's just turn it option 2. If we scroll down, it says, do you want me to wait until next week to see what takes place? So next week, so this coming week, I guess is going to be something that's going to happen, right? And then either I will do another email and a final shutdown, or I will turn over ownership to the new parties. If that occurs, I will share those email addresses with the new team. So all of this is pointing, at they're being sold. And the email, they do finish up saying, it's been 5 years and we've had a good run. And it seems like they're, they're kind of broken up about it. You know, they're not really happy with the way it's gone down. And you can imagine. And towards the end of my video I did this morning, I was like, listen, this, at the end of the day, this is about people losing their jobs right before Christmas. That sucks. That's really tough. And most likely the people that hate Arcade1up are really just mad at the people that have already left and gotten golden parachutes and they've moved on to other things. And the people that are there they're not the original victimizers of people that have sort of the issues and problems with Arcade1up. So, but all that being said, I guess what's your 2 cents on the deal?
No, exactly the same. Yeah, it's unfortunate, I think, because I guess, I don't know. We shouldn't all be that surprised. The writing seems like it's been on the wall for a long time. We've all been thinking that this day is going to come. Even from the very beginning, the business model, they had to run out of IP and cabs at some point, right? Or people run out of space in their game rooms. Selling these big, huge arcade games, you can only fit so many in your house. So that's a whole nother thing. So it's kind of like, at the end there, a lot of people were playing this game of, all right, what do I get rid of in order to replace? And as they start petering off of what they're releasing too, I think it was kind of Time Crisis was the last most exciting thing that we got.
Yeah.
So that was a while ago, and everything else after that has kind of been, repeats. But I think there's a lot that Arcade1up has done to bring us all together as a community, kickstarted a lot of our interests. Heck, one of the reasons I'm here is because of you, and one of the reasons you're here is because of Arcade1up, right?
Absolutely.
So I enjoyed watching your modding stuff and your builds and stuff like that. And I was modding and building, but I'd be sitting there in the shop streaming your stuff, watching it. And I think that's the case with a lot. It seems like a lot of the people I used to like to watch have slowly, even yourself included, have moved away from 1UP and into other areas, and most of those other areas are full size, full scale. I'm always thankful for the past. I don't try to,
absolutely,
rag on. And I kind of remember my roots and stuff like that of where I came from. So, I mean, I wouldn't be G.I. Joel gaming cabinets without Arcade1up, because pretty much all my stuff was stuff to mod and fix Arcade1ups and make them better for people. So that's kind of what got me started. But I always knew that wouldn't be a very good business model to have a business that's reliant on another company, because if something like this happened. So that was one of the reasons I moved into, doing the cabinets too, because that always interested me. And I got my my off-road here that I've built myself and stuff.
Incredible.
And so it's been something that has interested me. But now, offering it to other people, it's been something that's
pretty crazy,
fun and interesting, and trying to figure out how best to do it, semi-kosherly, legally,
a lot to kind of navigate there, right?
I enjoy to do, people want, and also don't get in trouble for it, right?
Well, it's like, I mean, and I think Detroit Love made a great statement on Super Game Room Dudes talking about this. The Arcade1up, what the Arcade1up did was it kind of gave you that foundation that you could build off of. Because before that, we had all kind of like, we had, some X-Arcade tank sticks, or we'd have some custom builds, or we were playing it kind of on our PCs. And it just, Arcade1up kind of gave us a form factor that we could get, anybody could go and pick one up and just plug it in. I mean, you assemble it like furniture, and it lowered that barrier of entry to where everybody, no matter how kind of, maybe if they were worried they don't like software, or they're not good with tools, anybody could jump in and get one and play and have that experience simulated, compromised, of course, but still have that experience. And we all got to kind of come together, and it gave birth to a lot of people. Like my channel basically gave me something to kind of focus on and talk about. So many third-party companies like yourself, but all these companies out there just supporting it. New art, new marquees, lit marquees, risers, coin doors, lit coin doors, whatever, controls, all this stuff. There's so much that just supports, kind of like the automotive industry, so much aftermarket support for these, vehicles in the automotive industry, cabinets for us, makes it kind of extends the life of the actual hobby itself and allows you to kind of express yourself and be different. And there's just nothing wrong with that. Even though I've kind of moved away from Arcade1ups. I still love what they represent. I still have a couple 3/4. I still got a couple of I love the countercades for some reason. I don't know why. It's like I still keep them, man. They're a great size. But yeah, I think it's we can't discount what they did and what they were and what they still are.
No,
But
it's disappointing and sad, to see them possibly find, an end of an era. But in some ways, is the home arcade 3/4 scale even gone? Because we see Basic Fun moving right in to
of course,
take the reins. They're picking it up, right? With a lot of the same screw
pass the
up,
baton.
right?
It's the same stuff. No, you're exactly right. It's the same stuff.
I don't understand about some of the rumors and speculation either. The fact that, they're saying Basic Fun may be, acquiring them and buying them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what there is to really purchase and buy, what kind of asset, because it looks like, it's a lot of cookie cutter being produced out of the same factories. So it's not like they're getting any of those assets, right?
That's true.
The name, how much value does the name carry? In the community, it kind of has a bad rap in some ways. In the bigger market, people that don't really care, do they even know what Arcade1up would they notice a logo change,
Exactly.
from one thing to the other? My in-laws have a couple, they're not complete arcade enthusiasts, but they have a couple games in their basement for the grandkids to play.
Yeah.
They don't know the difference between At Games and Arcade1up, and they have those machines in their basement. They don't know.
Of course.
They just see them at Walmart or Best Buy or something like that, and they buy them because, the Pac-Man, that's cool. I'll put that in the basement.
Yeah,
they don't care who made it, right? I think that's how the majority of the market probably is. So
I agree.
Game, I'm not sure, if there's much value there for.
I can only think of
either.
I mean, maybe IP, maybe some licensing, maybe maybe it's maybe they still got some midway connections, but even that is kind of I don't even know where they stand on that. It could be Namco they're holding on to. I mean, that precious Pac-Man is
possibly the IP that's there. But I
mean,
think with the licensings, once they change hands, doesn't that all back up into negotiation, or is that tied to a brand?
It depends. Well, it depends on the purchase agreement. So depending on if you purchase a company, their assets, what's considered an asset? Is it the existing licensing agreements? I'm sure that's why lawyers get paid all this big money, is to figure that out.
Right.
I can't, because to your point, I can't imagine other than licenses. I mean, what would you actually be purchasing? Because they've already shown that they can pull off the design. They've got that.
They're an existing company, so it's not like you're purchasing, their tech support or their distribution streams or anything like that. That they already have all that in place as Basic Fun. So
yeah, I think that to me, I think before that, the name will change, but they're going to live on. I mean, I think it's absolutely going to keep going. I don't know for how long. I don't know what kind of variety we're going to have. Are we going to get an Alien versus Predator? Probably not. I mean, WrestleFest seemed to be a struggle, and they still couldn't get the correct ROM legally. It's
to me, WrestleFest was impressive. The fact that they got it, because we were told for years that Arcade1up, who had all the licenses and stuff, couldn't make that happen because of all the complexities with the wrestlers and the licenses and stuff there. So I mean, when Basic Fun launched or announced that, I was shocked. It came out with a lot of disappointment, but they made it happen, I guess, right? For the most part. So
no, absolutely. I think that it's back to the compromise machine thing. I always call them compromise. What are you, the guy that's going to buy one, willing to compromise? It's like, well, I don't mind a few characters gone. I mean, some people honestly are like that. When it came to NFL Blitz, I didn't care about the late hits. Some people were like, that's Fox, that's blasphemy. I just didn't. I thought the cab was fun. One of my favorite cabs, actually. I would rebuy it if I didn't have other plans, which is something we'll talk about a little bit later. I've got a plan for a big build. But yeah, I think that we'll wrap it up. Like it's it is what it is. It's going to shake out however it's going to shake out. I've got emails that I've sent to I've put in service tickets. They don't know what's going on. And I also reached out because I actually got the email. I reached out to the person that sent that original email. I sent them an email with my name. I said, listen, the rumors are out there. I'm sure you're aware. Your emails kind of caused a stir. Would you like to clear anything up or comment at all? And just let that person know. I also, just so you know, your personal email is listed. I'm not going to contact you on your personal email, but I just wanted him to be aware that whoever leaked this kind of leaked all his stuff. Corporate email and then personal email. So that kind of sucks. So I did reach out to that person. We'll see. I don't know. And then I also reached out to, there's a contact email on the Facebook group, the official Arcade1up Facebook group. It's like a tastemaker sort of email. I sent them an email as well. I'm trying to just reach out and see if anybody can kind of give us sort of a canned statement, something saying, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're not going anywhere or whatever. We will see. But I think for now, at this point, it's just best.
I mean, with people like IGN and stuff starting to, report on it, you would think that
you would think so.
Arcade1up would say something soon.
You would think so. And I thought that, and the fact that they haven't.
Only if it's not true. If it is true, I could see them not saying anything.
That's the thing. Right? So what do you got to do? You got you ask the question. You ask everybody, and then I can say, listen, guys, I asked X, Y, and Z, and nobody answered. They saw my email and they didn't answer. So you know what that possibly means. But I want to give them the opportunity to at least say something. We'll see. Hey, Detroit Love is in the house. What's going on, Detroit Love? Arcade1up cabinets do not automatically become unfun because of all the external realities. These cabinets still provide an escape from reality with characters, missions, rounds, and gameplay. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's the age-old question or the age-old challenge. If you can't get a big cabinet like I have or G.I. Joe, so you got what kind of drive is that? What kind of cab do you have? Is that a Midway Racer?
It is a Ford Racing.
Oh my God, no. Yes, perfect.
Buy stuff marquee on top.
Oh, nice.
So it was it's got a buy stuff steering wheel or a Ridge Racer steering wheel and buy stuff mod all in it in the guts, but it was originally a Rush cabinet.
Okay, that's what I thought it might have been. Because the blue seat is kind of distinct.
It's got some history to it. I picked it up. It was featured in a NASCAR Ford Racing commercial.
No.
Three of them. And I picked it up for $150 from the guy who did the production of it. It had a retro, like a pie in it that they used to basically, it didn't have a game on it. They loaded it with a video that looked like a game, like a Ford Racing game, because the commercial was all about, Ford Racing, NASCAR, and stuff like that. So they did kind of this Hollywood smoke and mirrors magic, Yeah. And so it came with a pie in it, but nothing was hooked up or could control it, and steering didn't work, but it was all gutted it wasn't, when I got it, there was no wreck in it. There was no Rush stuff still in it or anything. So I already had plans to build a sit-down racer, but it was backburnered so much with all the stuff I had going on, and I realized I'm not going to be able to build one for $150.
No,
I'll grab this thing. It's cool. It's got some nice history and provenance with it and stuff. So picked it up and stuck what I had, my buy stuff, everything in it, and kind of modded it over. And it's only got the Android box in it right now, but I want to pick up their PC build. And
and it's funny because you say that because I've been thinking about one of my projects I got coming up. I'm gonna do something before I do this one, but I wanted to do exactly like you did. I want to find an arcade cabinet, something very similar to my Crazy Taxi, and turn it into a racer, kind of like you remember my Gran Turismo cabinet. I want to recreate that, but start with the framework of a Sega racing cabinet because I think they're just fun. I know everybody's going to freak out. I'm not going to do this, but I had thought about maybe I'll just take the guts out of my Crazy Taxi and then I'll convert that. I thought, no, I would rather sell that cabinet completely as like a complete unit for somebody else to enjoy, and then find another old one and then tear it up. And I actually found one. There's one there's $400. It's a it's a Safari Jamboree or whatever, exactly like this cabinet, but it's the Safari Jamboree. Doesn't work, it's got all kind of problems, which is fine for me because I'm just going to gut it anyway. So I've thought about doing that and just recreating and going back with the artwork on the sides, dude, and make the marquee and put a PS5 in it this time instead of a PS4 and do it right.
That was honestly one of my favorite builds that you had. I've watched that one probably 20, 30 times. I have a playlist of arcade building binge watch TV is what I call it.
Is that what you call it?
Started up. All of that build is all in there. So I just over and over again. I
really miss that cabinet. So I thought, well, that's what I need to do. So in the future, coming up 2026, I'll be doing that. But I also want to I want to take a 50-inch TV. You ever watch a Time Rift Arcade?
I think I've come across them once or twice, but
they've got, I'm not sure if that's the name of their channel, but they have an arcade. I think it is. Time Rift Arcade is in Dallas, Texas. And they've opened up an arcade, and they have these videos talking about restoring cabinets and all that. But to kick off the opening of their arcade, they did a Mortal Kombat 1 cabinet. They built it from scratch, 3/4 inch plywood.
Are they the same ones that own the Electric Starship?
Yes.
Okay, so I watch Electric Starship. I knew that sounded familiar.
Yes,
I think that's the name of their channel too, is Electric Star. Unless they have two.
Yeah, so that's it. So I basically want to recreate that cabinet because I have that PS3 with all those games on it from back in the day. I actually have two PS3s. I've just copied the data. That's what I use for my original 6-player X-Men cabinet. It's a PS3 because they redid that game back in 2009. So I want to remake that cabinet. So I want to do like a big 50-inch TV. It's going to be a 4-player, but I'll have ports for player 5 and 6 if somebody wants to play, but I didn't want to commit to that. I want to rebuild that with my PS3 and then do all the artwork that I always wanted to see on the other cabinets. So that's what I have coming up. So that's kind of where I'm going for next year. But I sent this to you when I was doing, and we talked about this a little bit before. I sent this drawing to you right after I took these measurements from Galaga Guy 88's cabinet. When I finished it up, I took all these measurements, and I'm like, I'm going to send this to G.I. Joe, and I'm going to talk to him about it. Little did I know you were going to kick off your whole cabinet on my build, and I was like, wow, this is horrible timing. So I'm like, well, he has no time for this. But when you looked at this overall, talk to us, those of us that want a big cabinet. We just want somebody to make a big cabinet, whoever, right? Arcade1up, whoever, make a big cabinet. We think it's no big deal. Talk us through some of the challenges of recreating this side panel. This is for a big blue fighting cabinet. What do you think?
Right. So, I mean, anybody that's listened to me over the past year and getting questions like this, I always say anything's possible. I'm an industrial designer, product designer. I've built prototypes and stuff like that. That's one of the things I love, is working in model shops and stuff like that, building prototypes to be able to show. So anything, is possible. This is 100% possible. You start layering on some of the constraints that of how exactly do we, how authentic do we want it, right? Do you want this to be full side panels, or can you put a seam in it? Because, otherwise, full side panels, you're almost starting to get to the point with these dimensions that you're going to be shipping a big old package, and it's going to be expensive, right?
Absolutely.
Even putting seams in this bad boy, you might end up looking at a couple seams, with how big this is.
So height wise, you would have more than just one seam going that high?
Possibly even the length of it, because you're at 28 inches. Wait, what's that? Where is it? Okay, 26 and 9. So, the thing I've discovered, and my boxes that I'm shipping with are very similar size to the ones that Arcade1up, dimension wise, that their cabs come in. And I'm starting to think that that's not a coincidence. I think that's what most cardboard corrugated companies, biggest, they make boxes in
Yeah.
kind of available to people. But then also there's other things that falls reasons for being as far as the shipping companies, UPS and stuff like that. Once you kind of break that threshold of, I think it's like 36 to 40 inches, you start getting substantial shipping premiums added onto your product, regardless of how heavy it is, just dimension wise. So 24 by 36 by 8 is kind of the biggest box I've found. And so being able to fit things in that, I
Inside
did
that.
not have those dimensions and boxes when I did the Nintendo cab either. In some ways I kind of got lucky that it does fit. But if I was redesigning the Nintendo cab, I actually would probably do a couple areas a little bit smaller to accommodate more for packaging insulation, foam and stuff like that. And some of the, right now I'm just having to, it slips in there like a glove, and I'm having to reinforce that thing with cardboard angle pieces and different things, and some some foam and stuff like that here and there. But yeah, you start getting tricky. So the dimension wise, if you want it flat packed and send it out, there's going to be a couple seams in it.
What about, so can your CNC machine even accommodate a piece this size? So you're looking at 77.5 inches tall total height, and 28 plus 7 and then 9. So you're looking at over 30 inches. I mean,
so my new one, the bad boy, it couldn't do it actually couldn't do this all in one pass. I could tile it and do it.
Okay, gotcha.
Slide it through and do it in 2 cuts, and have it still seamless. My old one that I built, I actually built it, but it still wouldn't quite fit. It does, I can do up to 72 inches by 24, 23, and I mean, it's pushing it. So I could almost do it all on, but there's a reason why I got a new machine too.
Exactly. So I think that I mean, the reality of it is it's not, I mean, it would take a pretty substantial machine just to be able to, let's say we wanted to recreate that cabinet in one piece and have it built, and then we drive up to your shop and buy it and pick it up. That would require a new machine or a bigger machine, a bigger table.
Right. Yeah. And that, I mean, that's me. I've seen pictures of like Tulsa Arcades. He's got a big bad boy.
Yeah.
That he could put it on. So he can load up full solid sheet, 8x4 sheets from what I've seen.
How much
he could be cutting that out?
He could cut it. Yeah.
I know he did like Rec Room, what is it? Game Room, the Game Room Masters or whatever it is. GRS, not Glenn, but the other GRS.
The other GRS. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they could probably do it too.
What is the price? Like if you were to have to invest in that machine, because, and yeah, I think you're right. Tulsa did Tulsa actually cut all the melamine for the prototype cabinets for Iconic. So he did those in one piece. Of course, they weren't quite that tall, but to just buy a machine, do you even know how much it would cost to buy a machine that could handle something that size?
That's quite a lofty investment. I'm impressed by the ones that, the one that Tulsa has, you're looking at, buying a good used car for probably,
you're thinking 20 grand, 30 grand.
Yeah. Around there. 20, probably is what to get a good commercial size that you could be running those through, a full sheet. For me, mine, just for reference, so mine right now does 48 by 48, but it's open, so I can slide a full sheet through if I wanted to.
Okay.
I built a panel saw to cut down my panels, so I can cut them in half or whatever and load them on there, just so it's easier to load. But for a 48 by 48, and mine's not considered an industrial. It's kind of on the edge of hobby and industrial still.
Really? Even at 4 foot by 4 foot? Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a beefy machine, but that was about $6,000 itself. So
for everybody that was curious about that YouTube channel. I linked it in the chat, so go check that out. So that's a $6,000. That's not a couple dollars. That's quite the investment. Once you finish up these orders, what's next? What's next for G.I. Joel and his cabinets?
So, Robotron is
Are you really going to happen? Seriously.
Robotron is happening. I got it.
Oh, there we go.
I got it designed up. I dropped off a bunch of pieces to Stock Jock when I was down in Florida already. It's more of a matter of taking the time to start cutting it. It's already kind of laid up. I got to cut it and do a fitment test.
Okay.
But like I said, the nice thing is, you know, I'm trying to build it and be smart about it. Like Arcade1up, I don't understand why they did a lot of the stuff they did. Like not a lot of the
like
stuff.
what? Like what? What's the biggest problem or the thing you don't understand the most?
Well, they didn't take the opportunity to be efficient with a lot of their designs. A lot of the stuff isn't cookie cutter. That could be cookie cutter, you know,
Really?
stuff that wasn't even, you know, important in a lot of ways. You know, there's a lot of like little nuances that they changed, and
yeah,
for why, you know, it doesn't really make any sense. Even down to like my risers, like I have to offer 3 or 4 different versions of risers, and people have to tell me, you know, kind of what riser it is or what cabinet it is, because they use a couple. It's not, and it's design as a design. It would make sense if they were all different, but they weren't. There was 3 or 4 out of the you know, the couple dozen that they made, and so. And there was no rhyme or reason for it. The different radiuses at the bottom.
I never understood that though. It's just, I wanted you to talk about that because I didn't get it. Like, I feel like where I would have expected them to be super cookie cutter, like they were with the first, second, and third gen, the side panels, all that stuff was the same. Basically the control panel, you know, would be slightly different, 4-player, you know, 1-player, but for the most part, it was all just like bam, 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 the same. And then they hit this funky period where the second generation 4-players were weird. Like, I don't know what, they were just funky. They were just odd shaped. I don't know what they were going for. They weren't going for the midway shape. And then you had this Legacy, that the first Legacy was just god awful. Like, I don't know what they were doing. I don't know if
with the countercades. The countercades were different.
Absolutely.
And not just like the Mortal Kombats, the 2 Mortal Kombats, the single player and the 2-player.
And the 2-player, yeah.
But they weren't that much different. They were about a half-inch different.
Just enough to be like, why?
Like why not use the same panel? The way
exactly.
You know, the way that those 2-players drop on, it's a little plastic bucket that drops on, just like all the other, you know, the big versions, the big boys.
Yeah.
You pull that off. Why not just have a control panel that sits in between or whatever, and you know, finish that off? But no, they made it a half-inch difference, so you have to scrunch it up a little bit. And
there were so many unnecessary versions of cabinets. Like, I felt like they were wasting their resources trying to constantly regurgitate some cabinets, but never refining other cabinets. I mean, so Turtles, X-Men, of course, Turtles got 2 different variants, but X-Men and Simpsons, to me, those are some of the most killer 4-player Konami beat 'em ups out there. We never saw them in any other form factor or any kind of revision. And I thought that those should be the cabinets that definitely should have gotten that, whether it was a 2-player version or whatever. But so many unnecessary things. So many, too many cooks in the kitchen. Maybe, I mean, you appreciate it whenever, and I know you've gone through this extensively, but when I did my wide body kit for my X-Men cabinet, to recreate every single cross member, I had to drill all my dowels, you know, and then drill the holes for the actual hardware when you put the bolt all the way through the panel and lock it down. It was pretty tedious and time consuming to do that. So if they were to make a change, that affects radically like all the cabinets they had to make. So my question, I think, would be, moving forward, you answer what's next. What design changes do you have in mind? Like, okay, let me start with this question. And I know I'm keeping you too long, so I apologize if you got to go.
No, I'm fine. I can be here as long as you want.
My biggest question, I need your help on this one. I've been going back and forth on this one. When you take a bolt and you go all the way through the side panel on an Arcade1up, and you go into a metal, stud, a metal, it's a barrel, right, with a threaded, center section, and you tighten that down. To me, that's such a solid connection versus the cam lock, the cam bolt system, where you don't have to worry about any kind of a hole all the way through. But I'm concerned that the cam threading into the side panel, that's a weak point. Where do you fall on the discussion?
So I may be a little biased because mine are all cam lock designs.
But I want to know, honestly, how do you feel?
But to me, I'm not sure that I don't feel that there's much of a difference. I think the feedback I've gotten from everybody is they feel like my cabs are built like a tank. They feel like they could stand on them, that they're more substantial than 1-ups in some ways. B-Kong's wife could probably climb on it and
she wouldn't break that G panel. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's tricky. I haven't seen the basic fun in how they're doing their cams. So there's a couple different ways to do a cam. Do they put the plastic insert into the side panel that then gets threaded in?
That I don't
and then
know.
Kind of expands, and takes up.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't care for that. And that's what a lot of like the IKEA products and stuff have. My bolts that I'm doing, they screw and thread right into the MDF.
Into the wood. Exactly. Into the wood. Okay. So there's not an insert that they're threading into. Gotcha. Okay.
And the MDF that I'm using is probably a bit more dense too than the MDF that a lot of the 1-ups are. So, it's a little bit stronger as well. So I'm screwing right into the side. You're getting that butt connection.
Yep.
And in some ways, when you're putting a hole through and a head through there, it's how strong it is. And it's more in the structure design, the side brace or the center panels, where they're located, and how they're located. So whether, you're putting a panel in this way, to accommodate this kind of, lengthwise, it's building rigidity, or you're putting a panel in this way on your cab to build in rigidity from tipping side to side. So it's not so much the bolts that are building the strength, it's your side structure panel, how long those are to be able to take up, some of that tipping, where you're putting them from the top and the bottom to kind of build that strength in that box.
So would it be better to have a taller cross member? So instead of a 3-inch, maybe go a little taller, like a 4-inch or a 5-inch, to get more, because you're talking about 5 inches now of locked in contact between your side walls and your X brace or your cross member, to keep that flex to a minimum. So that's more important than the actual fastening device.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, because the fastening is just kind of keeping that in place in a lot of ways, keeping it from dropping down and falling out of place. Once you get so many of those, it's kind of like, the bad carpenter, right? You put enough nails into it, at some point.
Trim cover it. It's fine. It's fine. We got a $10 super chat from Stock Jock. G.I. Joe always kids with me that there are only 4 people that want a Robotron cab. I'm here to prove him wrong. Who would buy one in the chat? This man spent $10 in the chat. Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you would buy the G.I. Joel Robotron cabinet. Let us know. We want to know.
Yeah, I think that if we can get my estimate to 6. I was being gracious.
Let's see.
I have 4 lined up.
6. Can we get 6? Well, I always thought, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh boy, we blew your 6 right out of the water.
I know. We're almost to it. Almost to a dozen.
You almost get to. No, they're working their way up there. So I always thought that it was kind of, here we go. We got somebody 67. This man is on the hook. He would buy 6, 7. I was always blown away.
Thanks, MG.
The fact that they had Eugene Jarvis back when Arcade1up was still doing a show, right?
Right.
Remember when they had Eugene Jarvis on the show talking to Travis and flat out said, man, I sure would like, wink, wink, looking at the camera. I would love to do a Robotron and then Total Carnage and Smash TV all in one cabinet. And he said, man, it sure would be cool if we could have like 10 players playing Robotron at one time. And they were like, well, we got online, all that. Why did that never happen? When you're talking about a super simple control scheme, just 2 joysticks, I mean, they already made it with the Burger Time cab. They were already there. They tread that ground.
Right.
Do you know why they wouldn't have?
I don't. That's one of the things I don't understand. If they had the IP, and it was there, Robotron seems to be one of those ones that I think that they could have easily gotten away with releasing as well, and it didn't have to be a one-for-one spitting image of the cabinet either, right? As far as shape design, it's not one of the ones that stands out as an iconic shape. Right. I'm gonna do it as best as I can. All my cabinets, I'm not pulling files from the internet or tracing,
Okay.
I'm designing them up myself to be a deluxe size. So I'm not shrinking a full-size cabinet down to 3/4. I'm designing it up from scratch, to replicate the original, but then stretch it to be a deluxe size, but then making minor tweaks to make it look more appropriate.
So you wouldn't start with a drawing like this and shrink it down. You're talking about rebuilding it from the ground up.
In some ways, yeah. I mean, I would use those dimensions to keep the ratios and stuff right, but I wouldn't just necessarily shrink it down. I've seen a lot of people that commented on my Nintendo cab too, that they've seen people shrink them down and it looks funny, and they were surprised that mine doesn't. And so that's kind of why I mean I tweaked it in certain areas to kind of.
So this is curious. I'm curious about this. So you didn't just take the cab, the name we won't say, and you didn't just shrink it down.
No.
How did you approach that?
So I started off and I did trace it, right? So I said I'm not tracing it. I did trace it, right? Sure. And then I scaled it down, and then I look at it and I'm like, all right, I need this to be a deluxe. So I want it to be certain size, I want it to be a certain height from the control panel to the floor. So I start stretching it there and how it's going to look. Then I start applying things of like, I want it to be under 23 or under 24 inches.
Okay.
Because for a few reasons. One, for shipping, and two, for vinyl. It's a whole lot easier to find vinyl to apply on the sides.
Okay.
In 24. The next size up, you're looking at 36 to 52. So less waste. So I can run
Staying
it through
under 24.
And I don't really want it right at 24 either, because if you get any
there's no margin of error. Yeah,
there's no margin of error. So I start bringing it down to maybe about 23.5 for my depth. And you don't need all that space in there for a CRT, right?
Exactly.
So you're bringing it in. I'm not making them slim Katie's, and these little tiny wall hangers.
Sure.
Bringing it in. So once you bring that in, you stretch it out. Then you start getting this lanky looking thing, right? And
yeah.
You want to have a control deck at a certain height for people for a deluxe.
Sure.
Where that plays out in the original design, who knows, because arcade cabinets were different. So then I start tweaking, the other aspects of it, fitting in, because the dimensions for the screen were a little bit different but I'm trying to fit in a stock 19-inch, so I want to keep my bezels the same size as Arcade1up's, because my original, and I don't know how much I'm going to do that moving forward. My original idea was I wanted to provide a shell for people to drop in Arcade1up components or other people's third-party components, buy stuff. I didn't want to be making monitors and bezels.
Sure.
Drop in Tulsa or somebody else's. I didn't want to be the exclusive go-to for it. If people preferred Buy Stuff, because Buy Stuff's a great company, they have a good name.
They're great people. Absolutely.
So I didn't want people to force people into buying my thing. But through what I saw with the orders is most of the orders, there's very few people that ordered just a shell. Everybody wanted me to cut the decks. Everybody wanted my monitors. A lot of people wanted the Pi to go with it. So moving forward, I don't know how much I'll hold myself to the constraints of the 1UP specs.
Okay. So you found that more people were willing to pay extra to just have it done. They just wanted it. They just wanted to have it done. There weren't that many DIYers out there that kind of wanted a shell. Because I mean, maybe you and I are kind of
no, and I thought that was the case, right?
Yeah.
That was where I was at. I was like, I'm a modder. I want to provide something for the modders.
Yeah.
But most of the people were kind of like, I want a Nintendo cab. So give it to me as much as you can. Like,
yeah, just make it like that, and I want to put it together and play. And it's funny. That's the chord that Arcade1up kind of struck. I just want to put it together and play. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So Robotron's next.
Yeah.
Moving
I'm trying to
forward,
bring a bunch of the internal structure components and design from the Nintendo over to the Robotron as well. So to be efficient, to use a lot of the internals that you don't see, I'm bringing those over. So then I can just cut piles of those and have them stacked up, right?
Just go to the shelf and grab it and go.
I don't have a Nintendo kit. I don't have a Robotron kit.
You just have
some of the cosmetic aesthetic stuff, the side panels,
sure.
certain, maybe the kick plate has to be different because it's recessed in. The control panel's a little bit higher, different on it. So there's a few things that, you'd have to grab and switch over. So the ideal thing is not to have to take 6-7 months to, get these to people.
And as you work through and streamline that process, it's absolutely gonna help immensely. So moving forward, though, you talked about the constraints of Arcade1up. If you remove those completely, what are you talking about actually changing? If we're gonna throw that out the window, because let's just say nobody wants to mess with that. They just want a cabinet that just works, right? They just want to plug it in and that's it. What is it that you would change?
What would I change? I don't know. The deck a little bit, and I've already taken some liberties with that. All my decks, I've been adding like a waterfall deck too, because I don't like the way that they fall on your hand and you have that edge pressing into your palm.
Yeah, right.
And most of them had kind of a rounded edge, so I've been putting the waterfall. But I'm trying to keep them at that depth where when I can as a 1UP, because I wanted them to be able to drop in a 1UP originally. So,
and if nothing else,
not all of them had that depth though. A lot of them were short.
I was going to say some of them had that. I think as long as you can kind of keep the aesthetic of maybe it's the overall size or maybe it's just a height thing to where guys or gals, whatever, can buy these and put them in their arcades, and they can sit alongside an Arcade1up, but they don't seem incredibly weird or out of place. When I have a full size Road Blasters next to my Turtles cab, it looks funky, but your cab, you just don't have that. It just sort of seamlessly fits in. So maybe that's the constraints. As long as you
part
work
of the
within
luck
that.
There was the fact that Nintendos were a small cab to begin with, right?
That's true.
So,
that's true. And they were a fairly simple, I'm going to say simple shape. They weren't super weird and complex.
So that's one of the challenges too that I would have moving forward is like a lot of the center structure is 18 inches, 17 and a half inches wide for a deluxe size. So a few people, I wouldn't say a lot, have been asking about XLs and what is the future of, G.I. Joe and making an XL.
Sure.
And so that's you're scrapping everything and going back to the drawing board. I can't reuse anything from what I previously have, but it's not as much work as what it sounds, because it's basically just adding 3 inches to every panel.
To everything.
Right.
To everything.
Hiding it, stretching it. But then that's a whole nother stack of parts to have stacked up, to be making sure you're not mixing in with somebody else's order and sending it. I already, have a hard time getting people all their stuff and not having to send out a second shipment or something. Or so there's that, the complexities of packing and logistics. Just knowing whether or not that's something that people really, if there's enough people that really want those extra 3 inches.
It's so along those same lines. If you
MG would say 3 inches is a big deal.
Well, MG, yeah, he would look at that. Yeah, we got Number Squid is saying 3 inches is huge. If you had to vote in this poll that I just put up in the chat, it said if Arcade1up closed the doors today, what would you want to happen for you moving forward? What would you rather do? Would you like to focus on? Would you focus on the XLs? Would you have a mix, or would you say XLs aren't really worth it? I'm just going to stick with 3/4. Where are you at on that? Maybe GI Joe cabinets personally.
Yeah, I'm a little curious to see how Basic Fun does with their Supreme XL sizes, how well they sell. Same thing with the Iconic. I think that's kind of an XL.
It is
pushing full size, but it's not quite full size.
Mm-hmm.
See how that goes over in the reception of it. Because I question why Arcade1up abandoned it so quickly. Was it not profitable, or they also had that strange caveat of they had that exclusivity with Costco, right?
Yep.
So was there an issue there where Costco just didn't see it or wasn't doing what they needed to do in order to sell them? Having that exclusivity kind of made things a little bit difficult. It's a little bit harder. You don't have as big of a market that you're selling to. I don't have a Costco membership. There's probably a lot of people out there that don't have one even around.
They're not around. Yeah, exactly.
So they're limited. So I got to question why Arcade1up. They've made a lot of stupid decisions in their past, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
So
That's fair.
it could have been just a stupid decision, but it might have been financial too. We're not selling these. To me, right now, there's a lot of 3/4 scale out there. People are happy with them. I think they prefer the deluxe size. That's why they bought my risers as well, to make them look more deluxe.
A little bit higher. Yeah. A little bit bigger. Yeah.
So to me, I have a hard time getting out of the deluxe size because there's such a market out there and people have so many out there to fit in. So how does a deluxe look different alongside a 3/4, right? Does it look different and stand out, or does it fit in?
Well, I think I've gone back and forth. I've got the full size. I got the 3/4. I've had every XL. I've got, well, with the exception of the new one, I've gone back and forth. I wanted to highlight Evan's comment. He's fine with the deluxe. Do you think my opinion is that when they made the deluxe, and I'm thinking specifically about the Street Fighter 2 Deluxe, the Mortal Kombat Deluxe, the Pac-Man Deluxe, I think that was about as good as it was going to get, because you're looking at a $4.99 price point, coin doors molded, 14 games, lit marquee, a pretty good size, solid side panel. The comfort was there. They figured out the angle. I think the big blue they came out with, the angle was messed up. I didn't like it. I had it and sold it. I think they really hit their stride with those cabinets. Is that where they should have just stayed? Is that where maybe you should stay? Is that where everybody should just stay? Because we hear about Basic Fun talking about Ultra and Supreme. In that original audio only interview that we heard, there was no mention made about 19-inch monitors. There was more features, coin doors and stuff like that, 4-player, but there's no mention of a 19-inch monitor. Is the deluxe maybe the pinnacle? Maybe it could be the perfect balance, or maybe I want your opinion. Is it the perfect balance of price and features? What do you think?
Yeah. That price point is an awesome price point, right? I mean, if I'd love to get my stuff down a little bit more. I think I agree. I know my stuff's a little bit pricey, but I'm also a one-person guy, in my shop.
Exactly.
And it's all 100% made here in the US. So I'm not having anything shipped over pre-assembled. So it's me and myself and I building these things. I'm doing the best that I can and trying to make a full-time gig out of it. So the question is, part of it is the people that are going to be buying my stuff. They obviously are trying to probably fit it into a home arcade where they have a dozen of these or a half dozen of these or more, right?
Yep,
and so,
yep.
In my experience, space is a premium in a game room. 3 inches doesn't sound like much. 3 inches adds a lot to the play area, but also 3 inches over a long period of space takes up a bit of space as far as cabinets and stuff go. So there's that balance of, I'm not necessarily opposed to making XLs if that's what people really would want, right? I mean, I'm already...
I go back and forth about it. I always thought in my mind that's where everybody wanted to go, but I don't know. I mean, I think that maybe if we had 20 different XL cabinets out there, all the different games were available in XL, this could be a different conversation. But the fact that the vast majority are 3/4, with just a few that are XL, maybe that's what's kind of warping our perspective or changing our opinion as far as what we consider to be popular. I don't really know, but I think that it could be the pinnacle. It could have been like they reached sort of the mountaintop. It was a long way to get there. They finally got there, and then they just sort of they didn't like push it across the finish line. I feel like they were so close.
And that's the other thing that I'm at. And so we're looking at this from a business perspective, from a one person, trying to make something of it. There's a lot of people out there making full size cabinets, right? There's a lot of people making really nice multi-cades. There's people that are making shells. You can buy a lot of shells online, full size. How big of a difference is full size from XL is the next thing, right?
Right.
Between deluxe and full size. So I don't know. That's I go back on that a lot. Debate in my own head on how much value is XL bringing,
right?
And then also to your point, with this, and like I want you to sell me on, Arcade1up's made a pile of Street Fighters, right? So why should I make an XL Street Fighter Big Blue? What would it bring to the table? And would I sell more of them than Robotron? So one of the things that I've always approached with what I want to do is I'm trying to provide to the community cabinets that they can't buy secondhand and mod into something. So if there's already a Big Blue out there, how much more value am I going to bring to providing one over buying a Big Blue that's already out there, right? If that makes sense. I understand, it's got a lot of compromises.
But that makes perfect sense, because you're talking about, once again, the reality of the situation we're in, where it's like, okay, all right, yeah, everybody, you want this, you want that, but at the end of the day, you just want to pay $500? Like, it doesn't make any sense. For those that are passionate, you're going to go out and you're going to find your Big Blue, like Gallagher guy did. He found it. I brought it home. I fixed it up. I did a little bit here and there, got it to him. But this is a big job, a big task. What would be the purpose of recreating this unless you're a diehard fan? Right. And that's an absolute fair statement. And I think that customer base would be pretty small, I'm going to say, and the reason I say that is because if you want a Big Blue, let's say you decide tomorrow you want to go get a Big Blue, you're going to type on the internet, I'm going to find a Big Blue. I paid $3,000 for mine. He's not in the chat right now, but Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger, is a criminal. He's been stealing all of them. Well, he's been buying them, but he's been hoarding all the Big Blues. Everyone he finds, he buys, and he's evil, because he's denying other people from getting it. But they're hard to find, right? So $3,000, you want to get one that's working and functioning. It's got all the stuff in it to make it a functioning machine. $3,000. So there was some savings there. But what is that customer base? I don't think it's that big. I think moving forward, I think there's just more of a demand for the 3/4 scale cabinet. And because we've had so much Street Fighter, even though it hurts my heart, I'm going to have to say that something like this would be a one-off for a particular customer who'd be willing to pay a custom fee to have this recreated. I don't know that has mass market appeal. I just don't. I mean, I love it. I love the cabinet personally. I would love to buy one and have it as a fighter. I have my 3-player. I'd love to have a fighter next to it. But I just don't know what the broad appeal of that would be. And even if you scale that down, to your point, there's a lot of Street Fighter out there, Fox. Why do we need more? I don't know that we do. I really don't know that we do. I think that moving forward, it would take a lot of research, market research, a lot of poll questions, right? Like, what do you want? And then bam, bam, here's your 4, selections. And what do they pick out of that? I mean, we did a while back, we did year before, I think we did the March Madness of arcades. I don't know if you remember that, where I went through and I had categories of all the different cabinets. It was basically a what do you want series. And it took place over 4 days. I think I had 4 streams, and basically we went through all these different cabinets. Your favorite racer, what do you want? And I pitted everybody against everybody. And I'm talking about the 90s cabs, all the best stuff, Crazy Taxi, you name it, the best stuff. And you know the cabinet that won the racing category? Spy Hunter.
Yeah.
Spy Hunter. And that was multiple days trying to figure that out. And Spy Hunter won. So it's a grind, I think, to try to get to the point where you can figure out what people want. But I'm going to tend to believe that it's going to be a deluxe type cabinet, and it's going to be a game that has not been released, a configuration, a setup that hasn't been released yet. You kind of struck gold with the GI Tendo, I guess we want to go with that shape. That you knew was never going to be recreated in a authorized official sort of way, was something the community absolutely wanted. So I think that for you, I don't know that I would go with a Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, anything we've seen before. I think I would venture into the, dare I say, the 80s era with cabs like Robotron and such. Are you considering making like the cabinet shape is totally different. Smash TV versus Robotron. Are you considering
I've been curious about is
I'm curious. Yeah. What do you think?
I will take a Robotron and a Smash TV combo. And I'm looking at those cabs and they're
wildly different.
But I've never, ever heard anybody in the chat put up a fuss about it. I'm thinking that I may try to do a Smash TV, it probably will just have some variances. It won't be a complete ground up Smash TV. It'll use the side panels of the Robotron, but possibly a different deck design and that kind of pedestal design, that extruded pedestal that comes out
a little bit,
the tapered angled edges. To make it look a little bit more. I'm not going to redesign one for one the side panels. I don't think it would just be a couple little add-on mods to make it a Smash TV. Because I don't know. I know there's there's a few people out there that want Robotron, that want Smash TV. I want to get on to a few other things too.
That's what I want to know. What are you excited about personally? What do you want to try?
I really like the challenge of the idea of Afterburner.
Talk to me about that, please. I'm all ears because I love that. I mean, I know it's a simplistic game, but that cabinet is so iconic.
I mean, I've looked, and I would want to do it right too, and 3/4, 3/4 scale it down to a deluxe size.
Okay.
With the actual shaped bezel. I've reached out to some of my contacts and buddies that I went to school with that have some fabrication shops of their own. Found somebody that has a large enough thermoforming machine.
I was thinking of thermoforming for some of the plastic pieces. Yeah.
Up a bezel, a clear bezel, and painted on the inside like they do with the RC cars, with masking out the screen area. And I think we could do it right. It would take a bit of time to build the molds and stuff like that.
Sure.
We can make molds out of MDF and vac form them if you know what you're doing. So it's not a substantial investment. It's more knowing the people that have that. Thermoforming is a lost dying art, and those machines in that size they're hard to come by. So I have a buddy who has one, and it sits dusty in the corner of his shop.
Oh man, put that thing to work. Yes.
So, building a design or a mold for it and throwing them in there. I think, and I think it was Ezekiel that's reached out to me. He has a bezel in one of his storage units that he's willing to send me to take specs off of.
The
and
storage units are gold
when I'm ready to do it. So, yeah, it's just a matter of getting to it. I like the challenge of it. So that one's probably a ways down the road. It's probably not right next. I'd be curious I haven't been telling people it, but it's probably almost as far along as Robotron I've been working on. And I kind of would like to release it shortly into next year, sometime in the first half of the year, if possible.
Okay.
I haven't told publicly anybody, and it's something that I have heard nobody else ever ask for. In my theory, it's something that nobody's asked for, but they didn't know. The home arcade community didn't know they wanted. Until last week, I saw somebody mention it in one of the chats. I don't remember. I'd like to give them credit, but I don't remember exactly who it was. It was Stringer Films. That's who it was. Stringer Films mentioned it in one of the chats. So I would like to know how many people out there, since we got 119 people watching.
Yes, sir, we do.
People, am I ridiculous? Am I a little wacko by wanting to build a wacko arcade machine?
Wacko?
Wacko. How wacko am I?
He wants a wacko. Everybody, put a 1 in the chat if you want a wacko, or put a 0 in the chat if you don't want a wacko. Let me look up an image of wacko so that everybody can have that that image in their head. I want to post that if I can. Come on. Where are they at?
So to me, I like the challenge of doing it. I don't think anybody would ever do it because it is a ridiculous.
Yes, it is. It is kind of crazy.
I don't think the gameplay is all that great either. But to me, it's just one of those things for a home arcade. Who the hell wouldn't want one of those in their home? Wouldn't that complete your collection? Like, to have one of those sitting in there, like that would just be, I think, the chef's kiss of like, that is cool. It might not be that fun, but that looks cool.
Well, I think in a perfect world, we would absolutely, I'm getting this image ready and put it up. In a perfect world, we would have enough room, and 3/4 gives us that option to kind of have the diversity of arcades. It's a wonderful thing to go to a place like Galloping Ghost and to just walk down the aisles of just some of the goofiest, here it is, weirdest kind of stuff. There you go. There's wacko. here's what he's talking about, folks. This madman. But that
honestly, coin door, I've been working on it, so that coin door I can use on other things. Probably
that's the Nintendo coin door, right? Or the one you have on the
not that. That's not a Nintendo. That's Midway.
That's Midway. Yeah.
But I want to offer that in a nice, refined, clean way.
Like a molded piece. Yeah.
Semi. Yeah. A mixture of 3D print and CNC'd and. Kind of like what I've been doing with the Nintendo. It wouldn't be injection molded like Retro 530's got. But
yeah. This is
it wouldn't be, it wouldn't look just like a thrown out there 3D printed prototype looking thing either. So
right. I love this idea. I mean, I love it. I love the fact that this was made. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like the fact that it was such a
design challenge of it.
Right. And the funky fun time of intentionally not making something that's square or straight. It's just like it's always been the goal of a carpenter to make it straight, make it plumb, make it nice, and to just
I don't see anybody I think that's a large manufacturing nightmare for
I can imagine.
Probably these arcade company, because not even the edge cuts are square, right?
Nothing is
where it meets up with the cat, like you were talking about.
No, everything's gonna be off. Like you're not just having a nice butt joint. It's gotta be angled. What a pain. But maybe a one-off.
The cam locks and everything, all the pins and posts, you know, some of those probably got to be angled too. I don't know. So
oh, that's a good point.
I don't know if it would ever, I don't even know if I'd do it, but
all your dowels would have to be drilled. So you'd have to hold it in a jig and then drill it straight. And then, oh my God. Yeah, that would be a nightmare for sure. Because you're right. If you just drill it straight, it's going to come in at an angle, and you can't drill an angled piece or drill an angled hole into the side panel. No, that would be nuts. That'd be crazy. It would be wacko, some would say.
It would be very wacko.
So Afterburner, I love. Wacko, I think you're insane, but I love the idea. Obviously, Robotron, you've got some feedback. I think you have some customers lined up. Beyond that, where would be
Hubert's been on the list on the short list.
Yeah.
If I did that, it would have to have the knocker in it. So making sure that we could do that. The grid, I've seen somebody mentioning the grid in the chat. I really want to try to make the grid happen for Tom and
nice
at Cleveland Gaming Classic.
Okay.
So we've been talking about it a little bit over the past year or so, and I kind of would like to make that happen for the next Cleveland Gaming Classic, possibly to have a few of them too. The problem we've been running into, we've been trying to play around with it, is networking them, even local networking them.
Really? Even like wired connections is a problem?
Yeah.
Really?
Just because it's not something that's been really flushed out and incorporated in like RetroArch and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, just single game emulation.
Because it's not, I mean, there's not a whole lot of ROMs and cabs that were out there that did that. So it hasn't had a lot of focus. So there's a little bit of challenge there with trying to network them together.
I think
and it wasn't a game that was built to be able to play off of so if you even had just like a supercomputer type thing to have that's not a multiplayer game. The ROM isn't, you have to network them together. So you couldn't just build a computer that's hidden in the background that your controls are the cabinets, right? That are strung into that game. It's a one player game. So each cabinet needs to have its own computer, its own brains to run.
It's like racing cabinets from back in the day. Like you could plug them in, you could connect them like Daytona, but you had to have everything on board. Yeah.
And unlike it doesn't have the popularity of the racing cabinets either. So it hasn't had that focus put into it. It's got a lot of unique controls, you know, the stick and
the joystick is unique for sure.
It's got a trackball. It also has a keypad on it too for
code entry. I think it's funny because it seems like it's one of those things. Like I know when Bob and his kids are there, his boys, they always run over to the grid for cabs, and they're disappointed when one of them is down. You know, because
it's a fun game. We played it at
a fun game.
Times.
Absolutely, it's so much fun. You get a couple guys, 4 guys, 3 guys. Playing that, man, you feel like it's the early introduction to online gaming. It
was ahead of its time. Yeah, it felt
100%.
Like I was playing Halo or something, you know.
Yeah, Halo or like a GoldenEye or something, you know, where it's just like you're just in that zone. It's so fun. No, it's really, really cool. So, okay, so grid, so you have this is so cool. The interests you have are just insane. I love it because you're bouncing between like 80s and 90s and back and forth. Beyond,
I have a CNC plasma cutter and a lot of metal fabrication equipment in my shop. I kind of would like to investigate some candy cab type stuff.
Oh, now you have my heart.
Like that Capcom. Have you seen?
Now you have my heart.
You know the Capcom, the round, like
the
smooth, rounded. I love candy cabs. I think I've told you that in the past. Your Astro City, like, oh man, I'm so jealous of that. I got the little guy.
Yeah.
Right here, because I think that's the closest I'll ever have to a candy cab. But the minute I saw that Astro City, I fell in love with it. It's just a designer's dream. All the shapes and stuff.
The way that the bulbous nature of it, it reminds me of like the space shuttle from the 80s and 90s. It's just such a cool shape. I love how it's sort of just itself. Like it's not branded for the game. It's branded for itself with very minor details of the actual game itself. It's so cool.
As a designer growing up in Michigan, outside, you know, Detroit, the automotive capital, you know, automotive design, the curves of it and stuff. And
man, we got to get you one.
It's made out of metal and stuff and not wood is just
metal, it's fiberglass, it's modular. It's such a well thought out design. Mm-hmm. It's so cool. You can see why Unico tried to emulate that. But yeah, there was, as to your point, like there were a lot of other versions of candy cabs out there. Neo Geo had this own line, you know, of the Capcom. Obviously, there were so many of them out there that were really kind of unique and weird and different. Look this up when you have time. Sega made a swing cabinet, so it was like a stand-up candy cab, and they actually made a three-player version of this. It's wild, but it's just like it's similar to that sort of shape and weird design, but it's a taller version. I mean, the Japanese were making some crazy stuff, and it was so cool. Everything was so modular. But no, I love the different cabs you're talking about are just nuts. Is there anything else you're kind of interested in maybe pursuing? I mean, you got a big list there.
I'm not sure. So there's that. Short term, like with Robotron, even I'm trying to make I'm always trying to be improving and make changes and tweaks. And so even my my monitor, my bezel that I'm trying to get into Robotron, I want it to look a little bit more like a CRT with the recess bezel.
Okay.
So kind of having that a little bit of that curve shape to it, the recessed rounded edges and stuff. So
how do you want to kind of achieve that? What's your goal with that? How do you do that?
So what I'm thinking, I'm still going to do it out of MDF, I think, but I have the CNC cut those curves on it. Those slight curves on the top and the bottom and edges.
To bezel that LCD.
Yeah, but then I have it round over with like a half round edge bit, like a big radius, and scallop those out too. So
nice.
And then have it two layered. So it's not just half in, so it's recessed under that, but then it gets placed under it has another 3/4 inches, so it's almost like has depth to it, similar to like the IR Arcade.
Makes sense.
That depth to it, so the plexi isn't just strung out over top of.
we got a $5 super chat from B Kirby. Did we just hear Fox say live on air to Joel that you had me at Candy Cab? This is getting weird. Guilty as charged. Thank you, B Kirby, for the super chat. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's when you get into the nuance of arcades and the weird kind of funky things that were done over the years, stuff like the Candy Cab and some of these very, very unique and specific cabinets. Like Sega was such a king in the arcade for just making a purpose focused sort of system, whether it was Afterburner, the standard or the deluxe version, and then obviously translated to like Space Harrier and whatever, and you had all their driving cabs. Everything was just kind of it just focused on the experience itself. I think that's why we love arcades so much. It's so focused on the game you're playing and providing the best experience that you could possibly have with that. Not trying to map a standard controller to whatever game, you know what I mean? There's a disconnect almost. Like when you went to an arcade as a kid and you walked up to a cabinet, it was Smash TV, it had 2 joysticks, and your mind was blown. There's like no buttons. Mm-hmm. It was just the way that you played. And you would sit down in a racing cabinet and you had pedals and a wheel, and it was just like, man, this is so cool. And that was just, flight games, same way, right? Joystick and all that. It was awesome. And that was a unique experience that companies like yours and Arcade1up and Basic Fun always are struggling to try to recreate. But no, I think that the 3/4 scale is probably a good place to land, and the variations. If you can sort of lock down some of the crossover, whether it's some of the internals, like getting some of that basic stuff out of the way, cross members and all that stuff, and then make certain parts and pieces the unique features of your cabinets, control panels, marquees, a little taller, a little shorter, whatever, make those be the standout pieces. Hopefully they could cut down some of your your production costs, and fabrication costs and all that, and having to have, like you were saying, so many different shelves with so many different pieces. If you can cut down on that and consolidate, it just sounds like it's just you would think that success would just come, obviously, because the demand is absolutely there because of the total lack of games. And the fact that you're focusing on different games, I think is just 100% the way you should absolutely go. And it's just awesome to have you in the community, and to see you being inspired by all this is just so awesome. Wrapping up the show real quick, we're about 2 hours in. I apologize for keeping you so. I know I'm in trouble. I've kept you so long. What would you like to say? Anything else? Final thoughts? You have the floor. Go for it.
I don't have seeing in the chat, people are asking about racers and shooters and stuff like that. We were down in Florida a week or two ago and in an arcade with my boys. And one of the things I realized that we play a lot in the arcades, but we haven't had availability to, and that is a lot of fun. I mean, I have racers, and the boys love the racer. I have a shooter. It's like a multi-cade shooter. The boys don't really play that as much, and it doesn't get as much attention. But every time we're at the arcades, we're playing shooters, but not normal shooters. We're playing turret-based shooters. Okay. I think we need a turret-based shooter, but I don't know what game, because they're all kind of modern games. So you're almost getting into high-end, like mini PCs with running turret and stuff, which I'm not sure, what the market is out there that want to be running those. But I'd love to do some kind of a turret-based shooter.
What kind of game is you're thinking of? Like, what would be the marquee title or that you would think about?
I don't know. They got like Jurassic Park, and there's Halo, and Optimus Prime, Transformers, that are out there and stuff. There's a ton of modern ones. My boys just gravitate towards those, and there's just something to just being able to blast. What was another? There was a King Kong that we were playing. It was VR too. So I mean, just maybe just a pedestal with a turret on it, and you have your VR glasses.
There's something about grabbing that big controller. I was thinking about like one of the shooter games that I loved. Was like New York Gunblade, which is like a 93 type Sega game, but it was a big gun mounted on the pedestal, right? You had the big pedestal kind of jutting out, and the screen was here. And so it wasn't a light gun per se. It was kind of like T2, right? You kind of had the mouse was sort of doing all the tracking, but it was a big physical thing you had to grab, and it had a solenoid. And it was just, you had that feedback, and it's like, I think that's what we're missing when we talk about like VR and consoles. You lose some of that. And to your point, to have a big gun you grab onto and you're going to town, I think there's something about that that's so appealing. 100%.
No. Yeah, I know you're trying to wrap it up too, so that wasn't exactly wrapping it up, throwing more crap out there.
Well, I can't help it. We get to talk, and we just can't help it. Yeah.
To wrap, I mean, even just thanks for having me on, and thanks for doing what you do. Like I said, you inspired me to do more. Watching you and stuff long before I was on YouTube or building this stuff, watching, I encourage anybody that's in the chat that, likes doing this stuff to turn on a camera and record, because I think there needs to be more people doing mods. I tell you behind the scenes when we're chatting all the time.
Yep.
I'd love to see more of your builds, going back to your roots of just watching you build in your garage and stuff, because those are the things I really enjoy. And I miss, I don't need 20 different news updates on a Reddit post.
Well,
right?
in 2026, so I have this is my month to kind of stream like a madman and have all my wrap up videos and top 10s and all that. We're gonna have a ton of fun this month, but you'll be happy to know that I've got several projects planned, because I think I'm happiest working on a project. Putting it together, a new cabinet is fun, and getting an old machine and fixing it up is fun. But I am most happy when I'm making something from freaking scratch. So in 2026,
there's not enough. I mean, there's a lot of people that are making stuff, but it's another thing to watch somebody making an arcade cabinet and doing video game related stuff. I mean, I watch some other a lot of other makers and modders, but just something to watching somebody else make what I'm into too. So,
and to see them struggle with the same things you struggle with, the mess ups, the screw ups, the redesigns. Okay, I need to make that better. You know, I mean, how do they approach that? It gives you inspiration to kind of go on. I got my inspiration from so many other content creators out there making other stuff, arcade, sure, but just making other stuff and taking bits and pieces of what they did and try to incorporate that in what I do. But yeah, I'm absolutely 100% more happy when I'm creating something. So I have been working behind the scenes to get some stuff ready. We're going to get back to that in 26. I got 2 major projects I talked to you about, said on the stream. We're going to go with the big 6-player arcade machine. We're going to do that. 50-inch monitor is going to be nuts and stupid. And I love every thought of it. I can't wait to get started on that. And the custom driver. Unfortunately, I may have to sell the Crazy Taxi, but I think it's going to go to a good place, and it's going to be in service of the better project, which is going to be that stage 2 of my Gran Turismo build. The sort of the evolution of that.
I'm excited to see it.
If
you need any help, I don't think you do. I'd love to see you building it from scratch out of your garage. But if there is anything you need a little bit of help with, feel free to.
I will absolutely reach out to you. No, I 100%. You may regret saying that, but I would love to. And nothing else, just picking your brain. And I think
I'm going to try to turn the cameras on a bit more. Right now, I've been super busy. I've been also doing a lot of more mundane stuff of packing. I did turn the camera on the other day while I was packing. But there's only so much I think people want to listen to me ramble on and watch me pack stuff.
I don't know. I think that sometimes we sell ourselves short because people, not that we're experts in what we do, but I think people want camaraderie and they just kind of want to see us going through the kind of the nuts and bolts of it, you know, scratching our heads, and you got to get out the eraser and that didn't work and try something different, or just the mundane stuff. Like you think it's mundane, but I think to a lot of the audience, it's interesting because we just don't know what goes into it. And it helps us kind of get a perspective, especially for those of us that just want what we want. We don't know why it costs so much. Well, talk to a guy who's actually going through it. He'll explain it to you. But yeah, I encourage is exactly like Joel said. If you've got a camera and you're working on anything, doing anything, or if you just have a thought you want to get out, turn on the camera and do it. Make your little channel and jump out there. The community needs to grow. It doesn't need to shrink. Now, we don't need to listen to other people that want it to go away and die and all this stuff. The companies can kind of come and go, but the people are really what makes up the totality of this community. And I've had so much encouragement from people like Joel that are just like, you know, when you're feeling kind of like maybe you're on an island and nobody really gets what you're doing, you'd be surprised. If you reach out, you'll actually find a lot of people that are interested in what you're doing. As long as you're doing something that's, you know, productive.
Yeah. I mean, I fell ass backwards into this.
It's funny, isn't it? It's wild.
Any intentions on trying to make any money on this and to build a business off of it, right? So it's been
wild. And you know, what happened?
Would you look at that?
Would you look at that?
What the hell? Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Thanks so much again to G.I. Joe for coming to the channel and injecting some reality into the situation, giving us a behind-the-scenes look at what really has to happen, what has to come together to make these awesome projects an actual reality and a thing that you can buy and have in your home. Joel, thank you so much for being here. We got to, of course, address the comments section and more importantly, the poll question in the comments section. Right now, everybody, I want to go ahead and give you
better address. I think Vic Vicious gave you a super chat back.
What did he? Oh my God! Did I?
Times he mentioned you missed it.
I apologize, Vic Vicious.
What it was, but...
Oh, here it is. I apologize 100%. Let me make sure I get. You know what? I think we missed 2. Duke 3 Dog, $2. Thank you so much again for your super chat, buddy. I appreciate it. Love the grid. What's another multiplayer game you want? Real quick, Joel, what do you think? Multiplayer.
Off-road.
Very good.
I got it half built back here. I'd love to.
Love that. Multiplayer.
I've been in the talks back scenes with buy stuff, hoping that maybe they'll do. I know it's something they've been working on, but they've been so busy. An Android box
for their 3-up spinner rather than a PC. Because I'm trying to keep my costs down low. So
now we're talking. I like that. And then of course we got a $1.99 super chat from Vic Vicious. So sorry, I almost missed it. Good thing Joel's here to keep me on track. You missed my earlier super chat. For Joel, let me scroll up all the way to the top. I don't know. Did I miss it completely? I don't know. I guess here it is. I apologize. Here it is. $4.99. Vic Vicious. So sorry. I feel like I owe him $2 because he had to tell me that. Joel, what's my dream cab? Afterburner. Absolutely. I think Joel
Vic Vicious will be one of the first ones to get one if I do one.
We're gonna go ahead and end the poll now, guys. The question was simply, let me screen grab this real quick because we got to post this later on in the week. Boom, and there we go. The question was simply this: if Arcade1up were to close their doors today, what would you want to happen next? Coming in the number 4 spot. Let me kill this real quick. Let's scroll this down. Coming in the number 4 spot was Give Up. I'm really glad this happened. Okay, I'm really glad this came in last. Give Up. No more 3/4 and XL. Only 8% of you cynical people have said.
What are you guys still doing? What are you guys still watching for?
I don't know. Maybe they're just being cynical. I love it. So 8% say give up. Okay, we're not going to do that. That's good. Coming in 3rd place is a return, and this is interesting. Return to the $299 first-gen models. Only 13% of the vote. I thought that maybe a lot of people would say, just do that, and then we can customize it. So coming in at only 13% is that. That means that, okay, so we only got 2 left. Which one was it? Was it expand 3/4 and abandon XL, or was it keep the deluxes and focus on XL? 61% have said, go ahead and keep the XLs, but focus on XL. Focus on XL. As far as this audience is concerned, 160 votes are saying, hey, we want some XLs. We want some XLs. That is going to be where we leave it for tonight. I apologize for keeping you so late, but the conversation was just so good. Joel, thank you so much for being here. Everybody, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. Y'all have a blessed day. Have a great week. Don't work too hard. We'll see you all right back here next time. Peace. Bye, everybody.